how's everyone going? Welcome back to another Courage 98. Well, this is the workshop video, so it's not really welcome to another. Should be the first sort of workshop sort of video. Not really a workshop video this time though. As you notice, the camera's set up slightly differently to our opening videos, so that's the way you already know something's up. We're going to take a look today. We're going to have a look and set up and test and whatever of the Ctrl P Railway Models magnetic Scharfenberg coupling. So there we are. We'll have obviously a close up of it, but we're going to take a look at those. That's for the, what is that? For the Sprinters, Explorers, and Endeavours, and these ones are for the Explorers, Endeavours, and Velocities, and this is for the Sprinters. So yeah, we're going to take a quick look at them, have a play around with them, set them up and sort of thing, and yeah. So let's have a chat. So first things first is the packaging for the on track ones have a bit of oil on it. That's because I had a little bit of an oil spill during the time it's been sitting on my desk, so whoops. Anyways, so for these ones you've got your circle mount ends, which are supposed to fit into the velocities and so on. Basically SRM, something around models. And then you've got your on-track ones, which you basically use the same sort of head as a KD coupler. Sorry, a knuckle coupler. So that's what that is for. We'll unpack these and see what the sort of things you get, and obviously you can see what comes because they're only little packages. We'll unpack the Velocity one. So this is all being done and the work for Sonic again. He's requested for his ones to get done. So I'll be doing he's now got 2 Velocities and his 2 Sprinters. His Sprinters are actually in for some repairs as well. So those were so you will see them in before they've been repaired because they're yet to be completed. Alright, so doing a nice little resealable bag. Not that fully matters. I think there are more of the things to make sure they don't fall out of the packet. So let's take her out. We also get a little piece of metal. I assume that what this will be for is for your is making it into your chain, your little link arms. So here's a photo of what the couplers look like in real life. So you need that little arm at the bottom. I'm feeling like that's what this is for. I'll of course have a look at it in a moment. Have a look online, and we can we'll do a close up as I talk. Basically, they've got a magnet, 2 magnets on each side, on each end, obviously. So they're both identical on both sides, and then basically they lock in, and they're pretty strong as well. There's quite a bit of force I'm needing to use to pull them apart, so it seems pretty good. And you also got your little hole on the bottom which allows you to put that little piece of metal in. I'm pretty sure that's what it's for. So yeah, let's go and bring in the Velocity and the Sprinter. We'll only do 1 unit, and then we'll do a testing based on both units obviously, and yeah, let's get them set up. Alrighty, so here we go. We've got the 3 units now in front of us. Not ironically at all, these are actually all of the units which I have previously tested in the past. So that's kind of a cool thing to note. We've got being in an unboxing video. We've got Sprinter number 7004. We've got Velocity number VL49. So it usually has the special livery one in the middle, but for the sake of this, there's obviously no use to actually have to convert that unit to this coupler. And I have also confirmed that yes, this little piece of brass is made for putting that little bit of detail in. So I might give that a go later on, but for the sake of this, we will not be fitting that now. So because we've opened up a Velocity one, let's move the Sprinter away. Let's move the motor unit away. We'll use the trailing unit. So First things first is understand how to take off the coupler. So it's just a single screw to remove the coupler. So we're going to go and get a piece of foam to put on the side. Of course, putting it up would make it putting it on its roof would make it easier, but working to camera will be very difficult if I had to work when it's facing upside down without a camera that's on the top. I do intend to get that sorted eventually. I am intending to have a camera that I can fit up to the top, so then we can do it a bit easier. But for the sake of this, that's not ready yet, we'll do it like this. So it is a standard diamond head. So we can see our standard little, let's zoom in a bit. See our standard diamond head just there. A couple of times, that's the cover that came straight off. Drop the screw out, and the coupler should very nicely just drop out. So it even has the nice little springs, which this one doesn't have, which tells me that this is no longer on a spring because it doesn't have any of the prongs off the sides. So we just get one of them. Obviously, whatever I do, make sure we orientate it the right way around. The arm thing comes on the down, goes down, so this has to go in with the flat side into the top of the model. So that will have that placed inside there. I will do this one upside down because there is a screw that I now have to deal with. Placing that on, and then we can align the screw and lock it in. We'll do a demo on how to do on putting the sprinters in. Should be about the same process as usual. There's no reason why the sprinter process would be any different. And that should be it. Of course, make sure you check how much resistance you're putting on it so that it can more freely move. There's nothing to lock it in place, which is the only problem with that. So there we go. Sounds like it's still having a bit of resistance though. So that's it, and obviously that will allow that to be coupled on like that. And then we'll take a look at doing we'll open up a sprinter one and do the sprinter. Okay, so I've got both ends now fitted out. Sorry. So basically they should now be right and leveled. There we go. I want to have a quick chat about a few slight things. The tolerance levels for them are very, very small. So I put a little bit of oil around where the things, because it rotates just on a thing, which means that it, on where the screw sits. So it needs to, yeah. So I've just put a little bit of lubrication to hopefully make sure that this will move a bit better, which it does seem to be moving a lot more smoother now. Also, some of our models have fitted self-tapping screws onto those coupler boxes, which is absolutely great. So if you do push too hard on those screws, they will strip the plastic around the screw, because that's only a plastic screw bed, it's not metal. So I'm not 100% sure why that is the case. But in any case, so that's the VLocity done. They have to be aligned manually. There is obviously nothing to stop it from being misaligned. It has to be aligned manually, unless you want to go and put your own springs and stuff inside it. There is no springs that come within the pack itself. Alright, let's get to the Sprinter. Let's put the VLocity to the side, and obviously first things first is let's open up one of the Sprinter packs. Again, they're Scharfenberg couplers, so let's zoom her out. Again, one of the it is Scharfenberg couplers. Let's pull her out of the pack. I noticed I'm using a knife. I do not recommend doing this ever. There are proper ways to do this. It's just because I'm lazy and also don't know where the hell my tools have gone. So apologise to anyone who's worried about the fact I'm using the wrong tool. I am using the wrong tool. It's not only for the Sprinter. This can be fitted on anything which utilises a standard KD head. We'll leave the little piece of brass in it this time though, because we'll leave that for another side thing to do. Those little pieces have to be split in half and bent, so very small job of things to do. Let's bring it back in the let's not do that because I kind of need it. Let's bring back in the piece of foam. That's one of the Southern Rail couplers up the top, which let's bring in the Sprinter. So the Sprinter you already see is already fitted with the knuckle couplers. They're the old Auscision couplers actually, which we utilised because we didn't want them to decouple. So the coupler boxes on these are a little bit easier to remove from what I recall, because I have done them. I was the one who put these knuckles in originally. This Sprinter actually has one missing mirror, which is on the other end. It's over there on that side. So anyways, so these are the biggest. This is the biggest screwdriver I'm using as well. So just removing all the two screws that hold the box in. These are proper screws, so they're good on you on track for putting actual screws and not self-tapping ones. Removal of the cover, and then the coupler drops out. So the coupler sits in a the coupler sits in a case like this. You remove the coupler that's already in it, and then put in the magnetic coupler. Obviously, it only fits one way. It will only, again, should only go one way. It needs to face down. So it's a very, very, very snug fit. We can see that it's literally only the tolerances inside it is bare minimal. So that's very, very tight fit. It's actually slightly disproportionate to the actual size, but that's good enough anyways. So we can now refit it to the model. Just pull the zoom out. Should sit in like that if I recall. Again, facing it upwards will now help, because we need to obviously align the screw holes properly, and utilizing and screwing those two screws in, we should, unlike the VLocity, the couplers should be able to still move. Obviously, if I was logical, I would have put the other screw in as well and then balance out the screwing. That's always the preferred way, but well, it still works. And recheck the tightness of the other one. There we go. Now that's the coupler fitted onto this end of the unit. And unlike the VLocity, as I say, she springs back and forth. So self-centering, which is very, very good. Alrighty then. That's for the sake of things. Obviously, it's not correct to do this, but for the sake of things, just for testing, we can now test the couplers to make sure that they lock in. And indeed, they do very nicely. As you can see, it takes quite a bit of force to pull it off. You can hear from the clunk noise. Anyway, so we're going along and do the second side, except this time I'll time lapse the job. So speak to you guys in a moment. Alrighty then, so that's that refitted. As we saw, something actually fell. One of the detail pieces actually fell off in the middle of doing that, which is absolutely great. That's the reason why they were here, to get details refitted anyway, so that's fine. I'll get that pre-fitted before we do the testing. So anyhow, I think it's I'll go and get the other two set up so that we can, and we'll test them out on the layout, see how strong they really are. Again, with this one, tolerances were really tight again. And of course the self-swinging is now working. So there we go. Let's jump over to the layout and, well, give a test of the couplers and see them in action. Okay, let's wrap up this video, eh? I think this video is probably a little bit longer than it should have been, but oh well, what do you expect on this channel? All our videos have been slightly over time. In any case, so what's my thoughts on these Ctrl P Models Scharfenberg couplers? Well, as you can see, they do really make a nice aesthetic. I haven't fit the trip arms to them, but even though they're more realistic, in practicality, the worries that's just more components that can fall off. And knowing that these A, aren't mine, and B, are to operate on the club, little components like that always seem to fall off. So, but yeah, aesthetically they look really nice. I'm worried about the durability of them because they do seem a bit thin, a bit flexible, but I guess that will be a time will tell sort of thing to see how long they will last. Magnets are really strong. They will definitely be able to hold, especially when everything is powered. The thing I do wonder though is something I didn't test though, especially with the on-track ones, the ones made for the on-track, so the KD couplers sockets, is fitting it out to like a normal locomotive and seeing how many carriages you can pull before the thing. I've never tested that because I don't think that's the purpose of what these are for. If I ever have to deal with this again, I may have a look into that. However, yeah, in terms of aesthetics and in terms of operation, they seem really good. We could see that there was a major problem with the velocities because of the length of the and the amount of sway that the couplers allow compared to the on-track ones. It really does limit the amount that they can take a curve with, but if you're not using as tight as curves as my layout, which if I recall they're 18 inches on the tightest corner, you should be fine. And as well, it's fine. I think from what I recall, it was fine with the 18 inches. It was just not fine when it was an S curve. So when the curves went back on itself, because it went back on, it was on an 18 onto a 21 inch going in two directions. So it really is pretty tight for anything which isn't made for it. Of course, as we noticed, the issues with the VLocity style is there is no centering. You will have to manually center the couplers. It's not too much of a fuss. There is quite a bit of resistance as well when you tighten them on, and the worry with the way that they've designed the couple box on these, if you don't put them in, if you don't lock them in correctly, over time they can the couple boxes might be able to come out. So that's just a little bit of a thing to look out for, because I have actually put a bit of lubrication to make sure that they sway a bit easier, especially when they're coupled up, so that you won't force the couplers off or force a derailment sort of thing. I'm pretty sure you could probably use like a little bit of black texture or black paint and cover up the couplers if the metal aesthetic is a bit too annoying. But overall, they're pretty decent little additions to make your layout look even more real. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this little look running in with installation, and what my thoughts are on the Ctrl P models magnetic Scharfenberg couplers for the Southern Rail Models VLocity and the on-track models Sprinter. Till next time, hope to catch you all very soon.